Hello there, hope you're all well, and I'm going to give you an update in a minute, an update into the situation in Brazil on this Monday, the 23rd of March. Just going to wait a few seconds to make sure that both of them are streaming properly. Okay, so I think we can start, and this week Brazil has started with a lot of chaos and confusion in terms of the situation with the coronavirus pandemic, and also a political row. The President Bolsonaro has been criticizing the states of Rio and of Sao Paulo for closing down businesses and accusing them of ruining the economy. In the meantime, they're accusing him of not dialoguing with them and not having any common sense. And Wilson Witzel, the governor of Rio, has said that situation is completely unacceptable. Rio and Sao Paulo are, of course, the two areas most affected by the coronavirus pandemic so far. Today, there have been 1,629 cases confirmed so far since the beginning of the outbreak, and 25 deaths. 22 of them have been in Sao Paulo and 3 of them in Rio de Janeiro. Rio City is, of course, in lockdown. I told you that earlier on, yesterday, in fact, I think it was. And the state of Sao Paulo is preparing to go into lockdown from tomorrow. So everything will be forced to close except for essential services, those being supermarkets, gas stations, pharmacies, and bakeries. One thing that is happening in both of those cities is the fact that they are now looking at how they're going to have enough beds to treat the cases, because of course they're expected to go up even more. These numbers that I've given you today, 1,629, that's more than double the number of confirmed cases there were on Friday. And remember that we're only talking about the worst, most serious cases being tested in Brazil so far because of a lack of testing kits. There are going to be about 5 million testing kits arriving in Brazil this week. And so you can guarantee that the number of confirmed cases is going to skyrocket once they start being used. So in Sao Paulo and in Rio, they're now looking at setting up makeshift hospitals in sports stadia so that they can free up as many intensive care beds as possible, just because they know that they are going to have as many as possible available. This is really going to get a lot worse. And especially now that it seems that there are confirmed cases in favelas, certainly in Rio, there are 24 suspected cases in different favelas, and 1 confirmed case in Cidade de Deus, which is in the west zone of the city and was made famous by the film of the same name, City of God. The problem, obviously, in favelas is the fact that the quality of the infrastructure there is very poor. The health system there, sanitation as well, basic sanitation is very bad. And also the fact that households tend to have a higher number of people living in them. So the conditions for the virus spreading in favelas are sort of ripe, unfortunately. And it's really worrying if they should then start to see outbreaks happening. So far, of course, the main areas that have been affected have been middle-class areas where people have come back from trips abroad or where tourists tend to stay. And in fact, one of the newspapers in Rio, the Globo newspaper, has reported the fact that in some favelas, the organized criminal gangs and the militia groups have been ordering curfews. They've been getting, the residents in some of the favelas have been getting text messages, WhatsApp messages, telling them things like, I'm just reading here from the report in the Globo newspaper, curfew from 8 o'clock tonight. Whoever is seen on the streets after that time will learn how to respect the next one. So pretty worrying and very threatening. Another one here, we want the best for the population. If the government isn't capable of sorting this out, then organized crime will sort it out. So, as I say, lots of chaos at the moment, lots of confusion, lots of worries in terms of the virus, but also economically what is going to happen. I saw a report on the TV with someone being interviewed in Paraisópolis, a favela in Sao Paulo, saying, why are we going to worry about quarantine when potentially we're not even going to have food to, sort of feed ourselves? So serious situation here in Brazil. We're trying to do the best that we can to stay indoors. Please do so. I see that the streets are pretty clear. It's the only way of stopping the infection spreading. So I will give you another update tomorrow around 2 o'clock again. And in the meantime, stay safe and all the best.